Hello you, it's me. Today we're going to talk about The Dominant Animal by Kathryn Scanlan. But first I just want to say thank you everybody for sticking with me for so long and for subscribing to my channel. This is my 50th single title book review video on here, and there's always more coming, so if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe please. I was also thinking that I should start putting a bit more information in my reviews about the authors, so I'm going to start doing that and see how well it's received. Kathryn Scanlan is an LA author who's written one novel previously last year called Fog. That was my cat falling in a box. And this is their first short story collection. They're pretty new to the table, and I'm really excited for further releases from this weirdo, and I say that with love. They have degrees in painting, writing and English, and for their story, The Old Mill, they were awarded the Iowa Review Fiction Prize. So I found this when I was looking for something sort of along the same lines as Salt Slow and Mouthful of Birds, which are two really good short story compilations I read this year. I was looking for something with a similar vibe. This is kind of, not really, but if it's not in their box, it's in the box right next to it. This is really micro fiction. The book's only 118 pages long, and in it there are 40 stories, so most of them are 2 or 3 pages long, some of them are less than a page. Stop making so much noise. Huh? I will say a lot of people probably won't like this book, as most of the short stories, it feels at first glance that they really have no purpose at all. They're descriptions of scenes, of events. It's like you have moments in your life occasionally where you look back and you think about it and you're like, that was kind of weird, that was kind of off-key and unsettling. Then what if you had 40 different moments like that from different lives smashed together in one collection, and the only thing that links them is how strange they are to an outsider's point of view. There's a story that's just a description of a woman in a queue, a story about a man coming to uninstall an aircon unit, one about somebody clearing out their parents' house after their death. It makes you wonder how much you forget and the moments you gloss over in your own life that other people might be like. Because of how intimate this book is and how intrusive into privacy it is, it feels kind of pervy. Not in a sexual way, but like a book for voyeurs. It really magnifies feelings like fear, violence, distress, and it does manage to capture those feelings. And honestly, to do that in such a short number of words takes a lot of skill. There's no waffle at all in this book. Everything feels trimmed, and I guess one of the biggest feelings for me that I had while I was reading this book is it feels very deliberate. It means that out of context, every passage in the book is interesting on its own. You can literally open it to any page, point your finger down, and you'll find something that's nice to read and feels good in the mouth. The narration of each story feels so objective and removed from the story, and is so scene descriptive, that I really had the impression that all the stories were told completely deadpan, which lent even more to the unsettling feel of them. I don't know if that was intentional, but if it was, you did it. It was in a way like listening to muffled voices or music from a few rooms away, that sort of removed feeling, but at the same time, weirdly microscopic and close up. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't, not really, but that's what you get from me. One other feeling I had when I was reading this book was that I was reading it wrong. I blasted through this. You can really get through this in a day or even an afternoon. It's a very quick read, but it doesn't mean you should read it quick. This is the kind of book where you read a story before you go to work, and you sort of mull it over through the day, I think, and it sits in the back of your mind. The stories read alone probably linger a lot more than they did for me reading them like lightning speed. I'd recommend reading this very short book over a very long period of time. The stories, because they're so bite-sized, had the feeling sometimes of like English class assignments that should be discussed with the group, where you're like, what does X mean? What do you think the author meant by Y? And it's probably impossible to say, honestly, without grabbing the author and shaking them like, what does this mean? They're so fragmented that you can assign meanings to every single bit hundreds of different ways, and you're probably going to be wrong every time. But even despite that, I was trying to find subtext and meaning for each story. So I guess with really short fiction like this, maybe it's literature that reflects the mood of the reader more than any other kind of literature. I like this book a lot. It's definitely my style of writing. and it actually sounds quite like a dream journal. I would be willing to put money on that the author's dreams inspired some of these stories, or that the author was given sort of a 1-word or 2-word title prompt for the stories. Style-wise, though, I loved it. Wish I could have read it slower. Wish I did read it slower. It's my fault that I didn't. Highly recommend this, though, if you like weird stuff, if you like experimental stuff. So I'm going to give this a strong 4 stars. It's new, feels fresh, and I'm really excited for more from the author. So that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in for the review. There's more coming as always. This is my 50th video. Woo! 50th single title review. So don't forget to like and subscribe. If you read this book, what did you think? Have you read the author's previous novel? Is it any good? Should I read it? Follow me on Twitter. I'll link that down below. And I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye!